Hello and welcome to the Ice Guys. This is the show that takes you into the world of the National Hockey League. Every game, every day, from a betting perspective. With pro sports handicappers Ian Cameron, Alex B. Smith, and various guests from the world of hockey and sports betting. And now, here's your host, Ian Cameron.
Welcome to the Ice Guys, Wednesday, January 10th, Ian Cameron, and look who's dropped in here. It's an old friend of ours. We haven't seen him actually since, last summer. I think we did a Player Suite interview with him right before he was trekking off to Europe to go to Hungary to start his season last year. He now finds himself, though, in Germany's Weiten Sie Deutsch. He is playing right now in the German 3 League currently. It's been a interesting season that he has gone through to this point with his hockey season to this point. And we're glad to have him here on the show. It's been too long. Ray Bryce, our old friend, checking in, seeing how he's doing. I'm glad to see you're alive. You're still kicking over there. You never know when you're going to a foreign parts, how things are going to go, but it's good to see you, my friend. How are you doing?
Yeah, it's good so far. Doing all right. Just kind of experiencing Europe here and seeing as much as I can. So, just excited to be on. Excited to be back. I feel like I haven't talked to you guys in a long time. So, it should be good.
No, it should be. So we'll get into lots of stuff. We'll get into some World Junior talk because I know Ray's rocking the U.S. hat. Why shouldn't he? After that great run in the World Junior Hockey Championship for the U.S., winning the gold against Sweden. And, of course, we'll break down the Wednesday games. We got 3 games tonight in the NHL. But first, let's talk about your season, man. So started in Hungary. We'll start there at the very beginning. Started in Hungary. Clearly, you're not there now. You're in a different country. You're in a different league. So clearly something went off the rails a little bit there with your experience there. So tell us about it.
Yeah, so I started the year in Hungary. Just wasn't the right fit for myself and the team. And it was me and my roommate had brutal culture shock. It's pretty poor country and not, and we weren't in a big city, or we were in a bigger city, second largest city, but it was 200,000. No one spoke English. So it was really tough adjustment, honestly. And the hockey was pretty good. But we had a Russian coach and I don't have enough time here on the segment to talk about this guy. So,
not good, huh? Not good.
Nothing good. Practicing the day after games.
Now, you didn't take your skate off and try to stab him, right? Like happy.
No. But practicing out like after every game the next morning. Workouts every single day. Like it was military. We get there like the first 2 weeks of training camp. We weren't on the ice, just doing running and workouts. They told us we were going to get a car. We never got a car, so I was biking to the rink every day. 3 kilometers, 4 kilometers to the rink every day.
Nothing like going to play a physical, hard, demanding, taxing sport like hockey by having a bike there for your games and for your practices.
Yeah.
Wonder you're.
Yeah. So it was just tough. Like it was just a tough adjustment. Like, and the hockey was decent. Like I said, it wasn't bad hockey at all. It was different. No one, like I said, really no one spoke English, and me and my roommate had a tough adjustment with that. I spoke a tiny bit of Hungarian. The language was super hard. It was like I likened it to alphabet soup. Like it was just random letters tossed around, I think. But other than that, I ended up working out there. I got a buyout there. It's probably like the best case scenario. Got a good chunk of change and found this team in Germany. I actually went on vacation to Poland, and while I was on vacation, I ended up coming here. It was early in the year, so I didn't have a ton of offers or anything like that. My stat lines aren't great, in the U.S. I've never been like a points guy, just kind of a third line, hard defensive forward. So it's tough, and imports, they're usually looking for high-end scoring guys that wouldn't pay. So I found this spot here in Duisburg. Our coach is actually a former NHL player, played 300-something games. Christoph Schubert, German guy.
I remember him, Ottawa Senators. Yeah,
that's him. Definitely. Yeah.
So, by the way, your video, it's frozen, by the way. I just want to point that out, people in the chat.
I see that. I don't know what's going on.
But we hear you, so that's good.
Okay.
We'll figure it out. You can continue. Yeah.
Yeah, so I found good spot here and Got a car in my own apartment. Really nice. I actually like the German culture is a lot easier to adjust to than the Hungarian culture. So that's good. I speak a little bit of German and can understand people and order stuff at the restaurant, but a lot of people do speak English too.
Yeah.
Especially the younger population.
That really wasn't the case in Hungary as much, correct? Sounds like it.
No. The younger population did still it's the Russian coach fucking with
That's hilarious, Cuban.
That's an all-time quote.
I think it is. I actually wouldn't be shocked by that. Yeah. That guy just won't get off your fucking ass, this guy.
No, I haven't heard from him since and whatever.
He won't stop bothering you. He's like a parasite. You can't get rid of him. Yeah.
Maybe should I just try and refresh the page, see if it...
Yeah, you can hop out, come back in, see if that does the trick. But yeah, that's hilarious shit. There you go. That's hilarious, Cuban. That you had that one waiting there for that moment. But look, we're talking about the depths of hockey right here. When you're talking about Hungarian hockey leagues, and you're talking about the third league in Germany, which is where Ray is currently playing for Duisburg right now, over there. So. It's one of those deals where when you're, when you're soldiering along to keep the pro hockey dream alive, you're going to have bumps on the road. You're going to have experiences that it's like, whoa, I didn't think it was going to be like this. Whoa, I didn't think, I was going to have to deal with this kind of shit. So I get it. I mean, that is, and I said this to Ray in the summer, when he started, in our summer series, it's kind of brave for him to be taking on this journey of his to be going over there. Like, especially, Hungary is not exactly one of the more common places for hockey players to venture over in Europe to keep playing the sport. Mostly it's Sweden, it's Russia, it's Germany, it's the UK is a hot spot for a lot of the guests we've had. It's amazing how many guests we've had that are in that UK league, the EIHL, over there right now. And, I don't know if I'd be able to handle it, quite honestly. Culture shock. No one speaks English, very few. I'd have to learn, the new language. So it's different. Now, look, I get it. There's, Babbel Translator, and there's Google Translate, and there's all these different, apps and different means of technology to learn a new language. And it certainly made things easier. But I'm telling you what, still, it would be definitely something that I'd be very reluctant to get adjusted to. I'd be thinking, probably a couple of weeks in, holy shit, maybe I've got to rethink this and go back home to Canada, but I credit Ray for, he's, especially when, look, things didn't go well in Hungary. He could have just said, fuck this, I'm going back home to the US, but he didn't. He got an opportunity there to play in the third league in Germany, and he's there right now. Now, the team, he told me before we started the show, isn't doing great right now over there. Probably not going to make the playoffs, but nevertheless, he's going to finish out the season and then see where things go from that point on as far as that goes. Ray's trying to reconnect with us right now. We'll see if we can get that going at this point in time. Like I say, we had his video and his audio at the beginning, then his video disappeared, but we'll see if we can get going with that. In the meantime, we do have a Tuesday card that was big, so we'll recap that, and then we'll wait for Ray to rejoin us in just a moment. But as far as the Tuesday games, there's a huge 10-game slate. The Seattle Kraken, there's a series. I think the big theme coming out of last night's games is that we've got a slew of teams right now in the NHL that are streaking, that are on fire, that don't feel like they're going to lose another game at the moment. And but all of those teams pretty much won last night as well. One of them being the Seattle Kraken. This has been a great run for them. They win again last night, 5-2 against the Buffalo Sabres. Joey Decord has completely taken over the net right now in the absence of Philip Grubauer, and he's been not just good, he's been outstanding for this team. And another victory for him last night, and another game where he allows 2 goals or less. So really, really impressive stuff from him. No question about that. So they get the job done 5-2. All right, we've got Ray. He is back. There we go. So apparently it was something with the laptop, because I see you're on probably your cell phone now.
Yeah, I don't know. And then I tried to get back in, and it would not let me start my camera or use my mic.
You know what it is? We probably had to boot you from the original iteration of you in the StreamYard studio, from the studio, so that you could enter again. But that's okay. You're back.
Okay.
It's all good.
Sorry about that. I don't know.
No, all good. So obviously, look, I was saying before you got back, I credit you for sticking it out after the Hungary experience didn't go well, because you could have just said, "Fuck this, this is a nightmare. I'm going back home. I'm done sticking."
Yeah, I
this
could
thing
have.
out." But
My roommate did.
Oh, he did go back, huh?
Yeah, he left. We left like the same day. But that was his situation was a little bit different. He just wasn't like mentally having fun. I still wanted to play. He just could have said, this is, I've had enough. So this is more a life thing than mine.
No, the KGB cannot defeat Raymond Bryce. I can tell you that right now, and we're finding that out right now. Yeah.
Oh, and I played with 6 Russians too. That's what would drive me crazy is these Russian guys could do nothing wrong. The guy like turnover going the other way. Oh, no big deal. Blamed a 10-2 loss on me because I took a penalty because I called the ref a clown.
Wow.
And he said, and then we were down like 4-1 or something. And he goes, yeah, that's your fault. They wouldn't have scored that 4th goal if you didn't take that penalty. We probably wouldn't have lost 10-2.
Favoritism then to the Russians. So basically these Russian guys are fucking up, turning the puck over. It ends up in the back of our net. Hey, you just allowed a goal. Yeah, you helped give them another goal. Good job, boy. Get another shift for you. Yeah.
Yeah. And just like would bring us in. He hated us, or hated me. I didn't get along, and I knew that he didn't like me, so it wasn't a good situation for me either. Well,
if you know he really truly doesn't like you and he's not going to give you a fair shake, you're at the point where even if I work my ass off and I'm getting better, he's not going to really give me the time of day and give me the ice time I probably deserve. So why the fuck would I stick it out here and keep going?
You know what, though? There's been a lot of guys that have gone through and left already too, like even after me. Yeah. So, and they're not doing well. They're not having any success, which is fine and whatever. I wish them the best. And like I said, I got a good payout from them and found this spot. And it's been tough here, honestly. And
the team. I mean, you've had a tough season. The Duisburg
struggle. It's hard to have success here when your team struggles like that too. And import players are supposed to be well over a point a game, and I'm not there. So it's been tough, but trying to just push through it. And hopefully, if I find something next year to get a fresh start. Sometimes you're not always going to have good years and whatnot.
And we got to feel for our guy Ray, because he was telling me before we started the show here today, you have not made the playoffs yet as a pro hockey player, and it's been frustrating. It's been disappointing. So he's got some Buffalo Sabres vibes going right now.
Yeah, it's really frustrating.
Long playoff drought. Yeah,
and I'm right at the end. Like I want to play I'm almost to 200 games. So next year it'd put me over the hump if I could make the playoffs in a good spot. I don't even care if it's a little bit lower league. Like this league's not bad, so I could get something like that, then and get on a good team and make the playoffs and enjoy my last year. That'd be fun. Some guys make a lot of money in this league too, though. Yeah. But the problem with this league now, they're going down to 2 import spots next year. So you really your imports are going to be pretty dang good if you're 2. But we play a team on Friday. Some of their guys are making $100,000 as imports.
Wow,
which is pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's and you're right. You mentioned how there's only 3 imports on teams there in that German 3 league, which means there's 3 people outside of Germany, and it's basically a bunch of Germans and a Canadian and an American and someone else from outside of Germany. That's what you're.
Yeah, and these guys that are outside, we only have 2 imports right now because we have 2 guys they're from Czechia and Sweden, but they have their German passport, so they don't count against the card. So yeah, it's just struggling. We're just a lot of teams in this league, they have pros, where they practice in the morning, their whole team's pros. Our team has only 10 pros and all these other guys go to work every day. So we practice at night. I just got home from practice.
What's he say to the wife? Hey, babe, just got home from work. Now I got to get ready, get my pregame meal and go to the rink. Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah, and these guys are when I showed up, they're doing work on their laptop on the bus and stuff. I'm like, this is incredible. But so it's no secret that we haven't done well in management. I think that that's a little bit on them. I'll call them out. Probably won't listen to this, but
well, I can't imagine that. First of all, I don't care what the job is. It's mental stress. It's emotional stress. The day job, I mean. And maybe in some cases it's physical stress. Maybe they're construction workers or some shit.
Right. Oh, yeah. Our goalie's a painter. Yeah. Paints houses.
These were exactly strenuous physical labor in their day job, and then they got to play and practice at night.
They come to the rink and they're like, "Oh, I'm so tired," and then they're like out of there. I'm like, "Well, yeah, I'd be dead too. I don't really blame you, but like, come on, I'm here to play hockey, and you guys are working all day or doing your thing. Like, I would rather practice at 10 a.m., be pros, and like maybe you go to work at
battles when you have no fucking energy. I'd have no fucking energy having a day job and playing.
Yeah, and like Friday, our team lost 13-3.
Oh, wow. If I'm the coach, I'm saying you're all quitting your fucking day jobs. Enough's enough.
Yeah, and you know what? He's gotten kind of thrown in the situation because he came later in the year. The other coach quit. He came in. I'm the only guy he's brought in. I brought in one other guy, one German guy, but so he brought me in. We fired an import, and then another import left. So it's been a little bit of. I don't think the fans are too happy with the team, and we're even like. I feel like I'm playing in Toronto here. Like the fans are like all over us, like on Facebook and stuff.
Really? Huh? Wow, they're that invested in the team, huh? Emotionally.
Yeah, and the fans are crazy here, like crazy. Like the atmosphere is the best. Like I went to a DEL game here. The atmosphere is better than an NHL game. The fans are the whole power play. They're on their feet clapping, like doing like chants and stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly what we saw with U.S. Sweden. I was mentioning that online with the
Sweden, and that wasn't even like
fans, the clapping the whole game. It's like,
and
I couldn't do
that. They play the drums the whole game, and they're chanting. And we're in the third league, like it's like, but in that when I went to Cologne and watched that game, the atmosphere was like unbelievable. If you were an NHL player that like kind of at the tail end of your career, you would come over here, make a couple $100,000, and enjoy that. Like that is unreal.
That is, that's good. I mean, and certainly that's a part of the reason why I know people are going over there. The money's not bad at all.
Right.
So from that standpoint, why not take that job? But that's ridiculous, man. I couldn't believe that what you just said. That's totally absurd that these guys are working 9 to 5s and they're playing in this league and there's games just like a normal league.
No, we only play Friday and Sunday.
Oh, okay. So there's a little more.
Yeah, and Friday's at 8:00 usually. So. There's some things like it gets by. It's not as professional. Like the East Coast is way more professional than this, and the hockey was a lot better there. But like I said, I'll make more money here than I would in the East Coast League.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. When you compare the two, like obviously, and I've seen it this year with a bunch of organizations. There's players bouncing around up to the AHL from the ECHL and down from the AHL to the ECHL, which is of course League 2 and League 3 essentially. In North America. Do you see that with German 2, German 3, guys going up to 2, down to 3?
No, not really. What we see more would be like junior guys coming up to play, or like we have like a 4th league team in Ratzinger, which is like 20 minutes from us, and they'll give us guys that like come and fill spots. Right. Like we're not super deep either. I feel like at one point, like I was hurt. My buddy, the other import, he was hurt. We had like no guys. We were trying to like fill the team pretty much. Like there was just like if you can play hockey, you're playing.
Now, are you mandated to have 3 imports? You got to have 3 imports or no?
No, you could have 0.
But okay.
If you don't have,
reminds me of the CFL.
We don't need them.
Has the rule you have to have a certain number of Canadians on the team. Yeah.
Yeah. The fans would say that we don't need them, but
keep it to Germans. Who needs these guys? Yeah. And you mentioned that no one goes up from German 3 to German 2. You also have to ask the question, is anybody good enough in that league to go from German 3 to German 2 and stick there?
Yeah, like German-wise? Yeah, a lot of guys, like one of our guys played in the DL for 600 games.
Okay, yep. The top league, yep.
Guys won't go up either because they'll make more money down in this league too. So yeah, there's guys that played DL2 in this league, and they make good money as Germans, and they'll stay in the 3rd league. Even my coach, I know he was playing for Hamburg in the 1st league, and he just stayed loyal to the team. And when they didn't have enough money to stay in the 1st league, they went to the 3rd league and just paid him a shit ton, I think.
Wow. So the money's not bad. That's what I'm finding out from you. The money's not bad there. Great question
it depends
from
on
our
team.
guy Goose. Yeah, in the chat. Does Ray know what the refs are making over there in that league?
I would say that they're probably making money from teams because it seems like they're so bad. Like the teams are paying them. I don't know. Maybe they're finding the local gas station clerk to see if they can ref a hockey game. It's awful. I've never seen anything like it. It's like the IHF, same refs. It's like the same refs.
Yeah.
That spearing call against what was that? Czech and Sweden or Finland and Sweden?
Switzerland, or I think it was Sweden.
Yes, it was a Swiss.
Yeah.
That was it. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That spearing call they were talking about that in Chicklets. That was that was horrible. And that's the stuff you like open ice hit a guy and you get a penalty.
Mike Johnson on the broadcast, it sounded like he wanted to assault the ref over that call. Seriously, I mean, he was that angry. I can't really blame him. So they could use an experienced Canadian ref. Yeah, Tim, if you want to make peanuts and go over there, go for it. You can referee a game in Duisburg one day. For sure. You got that potential in you, no doubt. So as you said, you're probably not making the playoffs. You're finishing out. The season's probably ending March and April, I would think.
February 25th was our last game.
It's an early end of the season.
Yeah, and if I could find something to go, because there's a international transfer deadline, that would be kind of nice to just go finish out the season somewhere else. But I'm gonna stick it out if we don't make playoffs and I don't find a spot, then that'll be it. But like I talked about, I want to get into coaching and looking at some other opportunities, and we'll see. So
there you go. And if anything, we'll get him on the show more often here too, down the road. Looking forward to that.
I see a Mel Pearson comment in the chat.
Oh yeah, but was it something? Well, you got to be careful with some of these chat comments. Not all of them are great, but have any? Oh, here's one. Yeah, Ray, have any good Mel Pearson stories to share with the chat, given his departure from coaching? There we go.
Yeah. You know who Mel Pearson is, right?
Yep.
Yeah. No, I like Mel. He's fine. I always thought he was a pretty good coach. Actually, he always had like a plan, and unfortunate what happened. Obviously, it didn't work out, but that's all I'll really say. I don't really have any great stories other than the one time I remember him chucking his stick in the stands, and he was so mad. But he was like pretty like mysterious. Like you never really like knew much about him, or you know what I mean. And I only had him for a year, and I was a freshman, so if I did, I just kind of.
That was a pretty crazy time. I mean, that's just what it is. And obviously, should he have done what he did? No, but at the same point in time, you deserve a second chance, I think, in life with everything. Like if you're contrite and you realize, hey, I fucked up, and you just, you deserve a second chance at some point. I'm a believer in second chances at some point. And so if you go to the third, the fourth, and the fifth chance, and the fuck ups continue, then I'm not as forgiving.
Right.
But to be able to give someone a second chance. But yeah, that whole situation with him at Michigan was definitely pretty crazy. There we go. So Ray is still Germany, finishing out the season. And then I guess status at the end of the season, we'll put it as Ray Bryce ? That would be
Ray. Yeah, I wish I knew. Gonna head back to the States. Got an interview and coaching, and hopefully get some good opportunities and maybe some options. That would be ideal. But yeah, looking forward to seeing what's next. If and if I do get a good spot to come back over here, or maybe they offer and change things up over here, I'd consider that too. So, not entirely sure. I'm getting a little bit anxious about what's going to happen, but we'll see. So,
as anyone, I'm sure there's anxiousness, there's excitement, there's anxiousness, there's nervousness, there's probably concern. Like, where do we go from here?
Jordan Binnington,
like that. I know Jordan Binnington and the Jordan Binnington. So nice of him to drop in here from, probably coming off the practice with the Blues here earlier in the day. Did they let goalies fight in this league?
There's no way that's him.
Yeah, well, of course.
Yeah.
Not. Yeah.
There is fighting. But I haven't seen any goalie fights.
No goalie.
But there's some absolute cheap shots too. Like guys I'm just like, what like there's not like it's just different here. Like guys just don't really get it sometimes. Like you're just like, come on, but
you know what it is? It's because there's probably a situation where the fighting's not as prevalent there. So if you do, cheap shit to a star player on the other team or run somebody, you're probably thinking, I don't have to answer the bell for it. So that's how that shit happens, probably, because you're not concerned about any repercussions or consequences for your actions.
Yeah, and the other thing is like you you can't even chirp guys because they don't speak English. So it's like sometimes you say something to a guy, no idea what you're saying.
No, he's like doesn't even react, doesn't even flinch. Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's like, that's what I'd be doing if someone said that to me and something to me in German or Swedish or Norwegian or something. I'd just chuckle and make it sound like I knew what the hell he was talking about. Yeah.
Right.
So there, I applaud you for, being there in Europe for a full season, knowing there's been so many ups and downs, smiles and frowns, peaks and valleys. You could have said, fuck it after the Hungarian experience, but you went to Germany, you're finishing the season there, and certainly the rest of the, whatever's left, a month and a half, 2 months left there. We certainly wish you the best and hope it goes well there. Before we get into the NHL, we're going to just briefly look at last night. Like I said, I don't know how much NHL, Ray, you get. How much NHL do you even get to watch over there? Not much.
Well, it's tough because your 7 o'clock Eastern time start is 1 a.m. here. So I have NHL Network, which is nice. So I watch every goal like every night. But and there I watch the highlights. Sometimes I feel like, especially on a practice at night, I'm watching the same NHL show over and over again, but it's tough. I like Saturdays because we practice in the morning or whatever. It's like optional usually, and I get to come home and watch like a 1 o'clock Eastern game. Will be like a 7 o'clock game here.
Right.
Yeah. But World Juniors was great for me because every time the time was lined up the same. So a 7 o'clock primetime game for them was 7 o'clock for me. So I don't watch a ton, and I was thinking about when I was driving home, I'm like, well, what am I going to say about NHL?
That's the thing. You got me to talk for 90.
Yeah, my bets, whatever I'm telling you, I bet the other thing because I don't know I haven't bet on one game or anything. So I did just text my buddy. I said throw 100 for the Oilers, so to win the Stanley Cup for me though today.
They're on fire, and that's
and they're going to win it. They're going to win it. I'm really confident in that.
Wow. And after that brutal start when everyone wrote them off, and I'm seeing Ryan Whitney on Spit and Chicklets basically saying, I'm done following this team and cheering this team. And the moment he does that, they get on this crazy
guys,
run.
I haven't missed – that's the other thing. I haven't missed an episode of that show since I've been over here. Oh, they're great.
Good stuff. Yeah. It's like I say, Alex had a beef with Ryan Whitney about the jersey, which was a ridiculous take. I agree with that fully, the jersey scenario. But yeah, they do a good
that
job.
comment was pretty funny.
They're the Mount Rushmore hockey podcast. They just are. We're small potatoes here at the Ice Guys compared to those guys. There's no question about that. But, last night we were talking about it before Ray rejoined us. Seattle with a 5-2 win against Buffalo with Joey Decord. He's in net. They've been excellent and great for him. Good Boston kid. And he's thriving right now in net for the Seattle Kraken. Oh, we got a question for you from our guy, Matt Robinson. He's another pro player that's been on the show with us. He's been a regular guest weekly. He's going to be on with us tomorrow again. Matt Robinson. Was Bill McCult at Michigan
No,
Tech?
He was right before me. We had Shuchuk. I think he left. That's a nail gun picture he's got there.
Isn't it? We mentioned that previously, that his display picture is like someone hit him in the face with a stick or something. Look at.
No, Billy Mux is not there.
Yeah,
he was not there. He was like a year before me, I think. So
there you go. So you just missed. Yeah, Bill McCult was a senator, I think, too. Ottawa for a bit. He played there. Canuck. Yeah, I remember him. He had an NHL career for a little bit, but apparently, so you missed him. He was at Michigan Tech when you weren't, and vice versa.
Michigan, not there anymore. I'm not sure where he is now.
No, but he was on within the program there for a little while. But Seattle 5-2 against Buffalo, played great. Tampa comes back to beat the struggling Kings 3-2 last night, and the Kings are struggling right now. It's just absolutely insane, really, to see how much they're struggling at the moment.
My buddy had a nice goal though, Matt Roy.
He did, and like I say, they've just got to. It's funny, their bread and butter is defending a lead and protecting a lead and closing a game out when they're up in a game, and that's what actually let them down and abandoned them last night against Tampa, who tie it up in the third, and then a wonderful goal by Nick Perbix, defenseman, unsung hero, surprising overtime.
St. Cloud kid.
Goal. Yeah, Nick Perbix. I'm telling you what, I gave that guy some criticism, saying this is who they've got now as their depth defenseman, but he's gotten progressively better, which I guess shouldn't be shocking when you play for John Cooper. You're probably going to get better the more games you play, and I've seen improvement in his game. There's no doubt, and that was a nice goal he scored in OT last night to beat LA.
Yeah, he's done well there.
Canucks just keep on. There's another freight train right now. Vancouver 5-2. Rick Tocchet outstanding job. Big win. Terrible spot. They played the Rangers the night before, back-to-back, and they beat the Islanders 5-2. And it's no fluke. They were dominating the Islanders early in that game. It's like they were ready to play, and the New York Islanders weren't. 5-2 win. They sweep the tri-state games against New Jersey, New York, and the Islanders, the Rangers, Islanders, Devils. They win all three on that part of their road trip. I mean, Vancouver, they're no joke anymore. They never were. They're for real. They're not going anywhere. It's an outstanding season they're having. They're up. They win 5-2. And I got to give credit to the Leafs. I mean, for usually that's a spot. We said this, Alex and I, yesterday, where you fade the Leafs in a spot like this. Perfect road trip back home facing lowly San Jose. That's been the spot so many times where they've been beaten by a bad team when they shouldn't. But they finally, maybe they're maturing. Maybe they're growing as a team. But they put the absolute pump. They pumped the San Jose Sharks 7-1 last night. And a very impressive win for them, just based on the fact that usually they shit the bed in spots like that. And for a change, they did not. My best bet with the over cashes in that game. 5-3 Anaheim against Nashville. Great win for them. And I had noticed they've been playing better, even though the results weren't there. The wins weren't there. Even in their recent losses, they were getting a little bit better, Anaheim. And finally, they're rewarded with a win to snap their losing streak. They beat Nashville 5-3. And I'm concerned about Saros now. This is multiple games. He's given up like 5 goals. It's definitely getting concerning, his level of play. How about those Florida Panthers, man? Florida Panthers just keep getting it done. 5-1 against St. Louis. They are on a fucking roll right now. 8 wins in a row. Can't be stopped. They beat Vegas and Colorado, the last 2 champions back-to-back on the road, and no letdown in St. Louis last night. What a job. Kachuk, Verhaeghe, Bennett, Reinhart. Just everybody is rolling.
And Kachuk's getting hot too.
Kachuk's getting, and people were bitching about Kachuk not scoring early in the season. He's coming off a broken sternum, you fucking idiots.
Yeah, he did a long playoff run where he's pretty much should have been in the hospital when he's playing playoff games.
I know. It was unbelievable he even played 1 game with that thing in the final, and then they finally had to shut it down. So it takes time to get back from that, and you can tell he's starting to find his game again. Both ends of the ice. Bobrovsky and net's been good. Their defensive game is good. They're healthy on the blue line now, of course, with Ekblad and Montour. And you tell you a guy that's turned his career around this season because people thought his career was over. He's fallen off. He's not going to get it back, and that's Ekman Larsson for Florida. I'm happy to see that guy playing well. He's had a really nice bounce back season for Florida when everybody thought his career was shot, after last season with Vancouver. So really nice job. Credit to him for going to Florida for taking a chance on him, and he's played great. Winnipeg, another team that's rolling 5-0 against Columbus. No letdown for them. Adam Lowry, I mentioned this guy that, he's one of my favorite captains in the league right now. And look, they didn't make him captain because he puts up numbers. He chips in offensively, but he is a great leader. He is about as good a person. Everyone says the world about Adam Lowry as a person. And in the dressing room, the great leader he is. He works his ass off every shift, every night. There's no brake pedal in Adam Lowry's game. Like, it is full throttle every time he's on the ice, and Winnipeg's rolling right now. And I think, look, they re-signed, they got Scheifele back in the mix. Velarde's been they fleeced LA right now.
That's what they were. Yes.
And
they have another guy that's hasn't even played yet coming too, right?
Yeah.
Did they get a draft pick for that?
They did. Yeah. And of course they got
Velarde.
Yeah. And Velarde's been amazing. Iafallo's been good. And
he's
Dubois.
consistent.
Dubois was on the 4th line. That's another thing about the LA game I forgot to mention. He got demoted to the 4th line. Yeah, but you're paying that guy a lot more money than to be a 4th line center. And I think Todd McClellan finally said enough's enough. We need more from you. And it's getting right now, Winnipeg's ahead in that trade. No question.
Absolutely.
At this point.
They've got a legitimate shot.
Yep.
Their last 10, 9-0-1.
Yep. They've been great. They've been absolutely outstanding. And it's their complete game. Scoring. They're defending. They've given up, 3 goals or less in 30 straight games?
Yeah,
the Winnipeg Jets. Wow. That's crazy. 30 straight games, 3 goals or less. Not once in their last 30 have they given up at least 4 goals. That's an insane trade. That's an insane stat right now. Yeah, PLD is struggling right now.
Yeah.
And the Winnipeg Jets are getting the better of that trade. Bonus, it's a great story because he had his wife in the hospital.
Seizure, yeah.
Yeah, and he's done such a great job coaching them through this difficult time. I mean, he almost lost his wife in that incident too. That's how close it was, that it was almost something tragic. But she fought through it, and she's battling back from it. He's rejoined the team, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful story. One of the best stories in the NHL, Winnipeg. Edmonton's rolling. Chris Knobloch, 10 years going good, 2-1 Edmonton. They win that game. Calgary 6-3 over Ottawa. They can't get their shit together, Ottawa. Another loss, another blown lead, another collapse.
Yeah, and I'm not sure why they haven't hired Berube.
Jacques Martin is just a stopgap. He's just a temporary head coach, just short term, until they get someone else long term. But I look, Jacques Martin's in a tough spot. It's not like he forgot how to coach defense. That's what he's known for. And
it's almost like they've gotten worse with him, though.
There's some truth. They haven't gotten better. I know that.
Right.
So they're either
lost 4 in a row.
Yeah, it's been
them
bad.
And Buffalo, and Detroit's starting to dive in the dumpster too.
Doesn't it seem like we've talked for the last 2-3 years about this trio of Buffalo, Detroit, and
like
Ottawa?
Somebody's got to make it. No one's running away with it. I mean, Detroit's done the best, but they've been
all disappointed.
They've also won 3 in a row, but before that, they were not good.
No, they weren't. And then Buffalo finally, for the second time all year, wins 2 in a row, and you think, maybe Buffalo can finally start to get something going, and then they lose 5-2 to Seattle. Last night. So 1 step forward, 2 steps back. But Ottawa, again, just they cannot defend. It's almost like they don't give a damn about defending with the lead. And that's continue. And Korpisalo's had a brutal year. Let's not let him off the hook. They thought they were getting a pretty good goalie that's had a good last couple of years, Columbus, then LA, and that's not been the case. He needs to be better. He hasn't been. And then the last game last night was Arizona coming back to beat Boston 4-3 at Mullet Arena. Bruins lose the game, but more importantly, they lose Patra, they lose Carlo, and they lose Linus Ullmark to injury, all in that same game last night.
This is the stuff that I miss.
Yep, it's not good. Well, we don't want to jump to conclusions, but Brandon Carlo's a top 4 defenseman for this team. Patra's going to be a good young player for them, but Ullmark's the one that hurts because you're going to have to go to Jeremy Swayman, who's been a little bit more up and down lately. He had a really good start to the year. He hasn't been nearly as sharp lately. So if Ullmark's out for a significant portion of time, you're going to have to call up one of your goalies down in Providence at this point in time. That could be something that is concerning right now for the Bruins. And look, the Bruins are not going to run away in the Atlantic Division. Florida's on their tail. Toronto's on their trail. This is a battle right now for this Boston Bruins team to be able to win this division. And now that you've got these injuries mounting, it's certainly not going to make it easier. So we're probably going to see Brandon Bussey, I would assume. The kid out of Southtown Beach, New York. Looks like he would get the call up as far as replacing Ullmark and being a tandem with Swayman. If
this East is tight though, hey? There's been no clear-cut team. I mean, you've got 3 or 4, New York was good, really good off the start. Florida, Boston. Those 3 teams have done pretty well, but you're looking at the Metropolitan, you got Carolina with 49 points in second place, and the first wild card is 46, second's 45. They're only 4 points back.
Yep. So if you're Boston, you're in a situation right now where the injuries are mounting, and you've got to really try to fend off, first of all, a Panthers team that can't be stopped right now. 8 straight wins, and so many of them in dominant fashion. And Toronto, look, say what you will about Toronto. They had a 3-0 road trip. They pounded San Jose last night. They're getting their game going. Nylander's signed long-term. And Martin Jones is playing officially the best hockey I've ever seen for this long. I mean, it's Martin Jones, folks. And this is a guy I called him Mr. Beach Ball for years, couldn't stop one. And here he is, night in, night out, giving them really stable, solid goaltending at a time they needed it most, with Samsonov all screwed up and struggling and trying to figure out his mental, frame of mind and get his confidence back. Speaking of Samsonov, he got called back. I was shocked that Samsonov is back this soon with the Leafs, but that's another story. But I think even though he's back with the team, they're running Martin Jones right now. With the way he's playing. Yeah, he has been. This is absolutely outstanding, the way he's playing in net for them.
Be a statue in Toronto if he wins a cup there of him.
There'll be a statue for everybody on that
Yeah,
damn team if they ever
that's
win a
true.
Stanley Cup with just the drought and how long it's been for a hockey crazed market like that.
Is this year the year that Canada wins a Stanley Cup, though? I truly think
Best
the Oilers
chance
are going to win
ever.
the Cup.
I mean, and but 30 Mark, what 31 years since the last time they won a cup? Montreal 93.
1993. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, you got Winnipeg, Edmonton, Vancouver, and Toronto. They're all among
Right.
4 of the top 10 teams in the NHL right now.
Right.
So there you go. Winnipeg, Edmonton, Toronto, and Vancouver. So my goodness, someone. I mean, if this is the best shot for sure. Someone asking who's Ray's NHL team that he roots for. There you go.
Honestly, I've kind of been on Detroit. Like, I don't really have a favorite team.
Detroit, I know it was New Jersey when you were young.
Yeah, growing up, and I like Pittsburgh too. I love Crosby. I'm a big Crosby fan. Yeah, more like just watching guys. Detroit. I would like to see Detroit do well. They've been off for so long, and they've got some young guys, and they've made some trades and stuff like that. And I'm a Larkin fan. I was surprised to see what they did with Kane, though. Like, they went on like a brutal run after they got him, and he was a point per game, so like he wasn't the problem.
Yep. Yeah, Kane's been great in Detroit. You're right, and it just sometimes it's a bad fit, and you know what it was? It was too many cooks in the kitchen, and not everyone can make a good meal at the same time. That's the way I see it. And when in New York last year, it was Tarasenko, and it was Kane, and it was already Kreider and Zibanejad, and Panarin, and there's only so many people that can be the difference maker offensively. That's putting a lot. I know it's good to have a ton of high end talent, but that's a little too much. And to me, the fit and the sync was not there at any point with those guys.
And they truly need like a superstar. I think though, at the same time, like all their guys are, and we just talked about too many cooks. Like all their guys are good. Like DeBrinket's close, but he's not look at what Pettersson is doing this year. Like that guy every night. Kucherov, like that's a true superstar. You know what I mean? They need somebody like that almost just to, and like maybe relax those other guys a little bit. I'm not sure. Maybe they get in. It's too, you're in the doldrums of the year, so we'll see. But
they're only like 4 or 5 points out of the last wild card, but the problem is there's like 4 or 5 teams between them and the last wild card.
Yes,
spot. It's the teams you got to leapfrog. That's the bigger issue. It's not the deficit in points; it's the teams you got to jump over.
They're 1 point out of the second spot of the wild card.
Yeah,
but there's Pittsburgh's 1 point out, Washington's 1 point out, New Jersey's 1 point out. So like, if you lose one and those guys win two. Like you're kind of every game is like important right now. You're dropping games, so
Well, I agree, and you're right about Larkin's a great player. He's not at the superstar level. I think he's a great player, great cap. I think he's a good captain. I have no issues with him in the way he's
right. And I think if you win, if you get like a superstar and let him go on the second line, and he can play a little bit. Like he is a number one center. He has the ability to play number one center. But if he can be the second line center and you let somebody like come in, and I think he does even better. You know what I mean? Not so much pressure on himself, and he can lead a little bit more instead of
Yeah, Joe Veleno's been an unsung hero for the Red Wings. That guy. I mean, we've cashed some plus 500s on him goal props this year. I mean, totally undervalued. He's been on the top line multiple times this season, Ray, and he's been plus 500, and we've hit a couple.
Yeah, no, he's done well. Like I said, it's hard for me to follow everything. I more just look at the standings and the scores from the night before.
Yeah, that's really all you
watch
can do.
The highlight.
Watch some highlights. Yeah, I get it over there. And that's what a lot of people that we've had, as guests from over in Europe have said the same thing. It's just difficult. Time change and, accessibility to the games, to the live games and the combination. It's difficult. All right. We will finally get to Wednesday's 3 games in just a moment. But first, we got to mention something about the World Juniors. It was a great job by the U.S. And you think of and it's funny, everyone talked about Snuggerud and everyone talked about, a lot of the big time players on that team that were there. But I thought that Brindley kid, that Columbus stole him, I think, in the draft. That Gavin Brindley, he was absolutely terrific in that tournament. And he didn't get really the kind of accolades or I guess, players to watch. They always say that about every team going into tournaments like that. I didn't hear Brindley's name very much, but man, he deserved all the credit. Isaac Howard had an incredible tournament, and I didn't hear as much about him. I mean, I heard a lot about Leonard. I heard a lot about Lane Hudson and Cutter Gauthier and Will Smith and those guys and Rutger McGroarty. But you're talking Isaac Howard wasn't talked about as much. He had a great
the
tournament.
Iceman.
Dave Perreault had a great tournament. He wasn't talked about as much. And as I mentioned, Gavin Brindley was just amazing. So you talk about yeah.
Oh, they were apparently the Swedes were so mad at the Americans too. Like that Ryan Leonard cellar
blew the kiss.
Yeah. Unbelievable. I love that shit.
Is what he did.
Yeah. Good night. Like I love that shit. That's unreal. But
I have no problem with it. It's heat of the moment. You put the gold medal away with that goal.
That's
and
that's why people hate Americans. Like just cocky shit like that.
The bird, I'd have a problem with that. That's going over the line a little bit. But just doing a little thing like that. I mean, I get it. Like if I was Swedish and I saw that, I'd be a little pissed initially. But I've seen worse than that.
Yeah.
And look, they're young kids. They're in the moment.
Right. 19, 20 years old.
Exactly. Just showing a little bit. I mean, it is what I've seen worse. I mean, to me, that's not just. I mean, there's people say zero class. I've seen worse zero class maneuvers and gestures.
The Swedes went after the Americans at the end of the game anyway. So a
guy that played for 30 seconds the whole game was trying to rough it up with Hudson at the end of the game, throwing punches.
Those Swedes were sick though. Like I watched them a lot because they always had the primetime game.
Yeah.
So they were always on. Like when I was not doing anything or whatever. I Lettermacki and Axel Sandin Pellikka, like. Those kids were studs. They're going to be good NHL players.
Yeah, that was a great. That was
Noah Ostlund was good.
Noah Ostlund, great call there. He had Sandin Pellikka is going to be an outstanding NHL defenseman, I think for sure. They have nothing to be ashamed about because that U.S. team was loaded. Like it's not like they lost in the gold medal game to an upstart like let's say Latvia or Germany or something. They lost to a loaded U.S. team with double first round.
And picks. I'll say like this. Every year, like the World Juniors, like it's getting there's less and less parity, or more and more like, like the competition's closer every year, which is good. It means the game's growing.
Lekkerimaki too, great call, Rich. He's great on that Swedish team. Yeah,
Lekkerimaki,
yeah. No, they were a great team, but the U.S. was that much better, just a little bit better, a little bit deeper.
Oh,
all these guys are going to have great careers. They're going to have.
Well, they had that Will Smith, Ryan Leonard, and Gauthier line from BC. Like if that's your third line, that would be a first line in Czechia, or you know what I mean. And
I said this and I know the Canadians are going to be disgruntled because they want to always think they're the best in hockey. But I said this: the next 5 to 10 years, USA hockey is going to be a problem. At the junior level, they're going to be a problem. At the professional level in these international tournaments, they're going to be a problem. Deal with it. They're going to be a force. They're going to be in the mix. They're going to be contenders. Simple as that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. And they were talking about that on Chicklets too. Like, it's not even a Canadian fault. It's just like the sport's getting so popular in the U.S. Like the amount of the population in the U.S. is way bigger than Canada. Like it's just a numbers game. Like Whitney was saying on Chicklets. Like
it costs way more to play hockey for kids in this country than other countries. That's just the reality.
And well, now you
leg here.
Yeah, it's the same thing in the U.S. But it is a rich kid sport, which is unfortunate, and it's kind of turned into that. And now people are paying like $10,000 a summer for the kids to do skills camps and stuff like that. But the big other thing too is that I don't think not many people have talked about is USA Hockey kind of like dumped their like development plan like 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago now, and they went to that ADM, like the small ice stuff, and it seems to be working great. Like I think the retention rate of kids staying in the game is high. Like the amount of skill level that you're seeing out of American kids now is greater. And the game's growing.
I've heard too. There's more kids. It's not like a boatload of kids. Obviously, the majority still, when they're growing up, they go to play football, they go to play basketball, even baseball. But there's a small percentage, more than ever before, that are choosing to play hockey in the state growing up instead of football, instead of basketball or baseball.
And you look at Las Vegas. Like now they've got I'm sure I don't know what's called junior night program or whatever. The game's going to grow there. There's going to be a kid in the NHL in 20 years from Las Vegas. Like it's going to happen. You know what I mean? Like it's like what's that? Logan Cooley from Pittsburgh. We
Yep.
played hockey because of Sid's program. Like the game's just growing. Like, and the NHL has done a great job. They're just they know what
A lot of
they know what they're
California
doing
kids in the
in
NHL. Look at them all. Zucker,
right in Florida
and Trevor Moore for LA. It's tons of them.
Yeah.
Go on and on. Yeah.
Right, and the game's just the NHL's done a great job marketing the game, and even the girls' game now, like that's going to grow with this new PWHL, and good for them to have something and make some money, and an opportunity for girls to move on and play. So,
future of hockey is bright. There's no question.
No, and maybe the biggest time ever for hockey growth in the last, it's been in the last 3 years, and it's going to continue to grow.
It absolutely will. You know what? We're going to try to continue to grow next, our bankrolls. So let's see how we can try to do that here on this Wednesday night slate. We start with the first of the 3 games tonight. It's Montreal and Philadelphia. We've got the Flyers minus 180 home favorites, 6 being the total here in this game. Look, I like the way this game sets up for Philly. A lot of enthusiasm. I believe we're going to see Jamie Drysdale's Flyers debut. Of course, in the big blockbuster trade with Anaheim, trading away the disgruntled Cutter Gauthier, who didn't want any part of playing for the Flyers. Well, now he's out of there, and now in comes Jamie Drysdale, who looked, if you saw his press conference yesterday, looked like a good kid, happy to be there, happy to have this opportunity. So absolutely terrific to see him, being happy to be here. Caden Primo and Samuel Ersson. So we kind of have a backup goaltending battle here with this game, with the Habs and with the Flyers. What Jamie Drysdale brings to this team is a right shot blue liner that they needed badly. He's got offensive upside, great skater. There's no question about that. He has a goal and 5 points this season in 10 games. Keep in mind, he's missed a lot of time due to injury, but this is a guy that's got the ability to not only play solid in his own end, but be a difference maker offensively, rush that puck up the ice and make things happen, quarterback, a power play. He's got that ability to do all those things, and it looks like he's going to be on the second power play unit tonight for the Flyers. So John Tortorella putting that to the test, looking like that. And look, John Tortorella is putting this kid right up there already with on the top pair with Travis Sanheim on this Flyers blue line. So talk about a big opportunity for him in his NHL debut. And I know there's people in the chat saying, the kid's going to be sky high for props for him. I don't hate it. Goal props plus 790. I mean, it is a huge, massive price, and he's going to play on the power play. So, it's not the worst idea in the world as far as that's concerned. For Montreal, they had the Ranger game over the weekend, which was a solid victory for the Montreal Canadiens. I thought they played pretty well. Samuel Montembeault in that game was really, really strong in net in that 4-3 win. But they're a team trying to string wins together. They've had a tough time doing that. Flyers are struggling. They're 1-5 in their last 6. I just get that sense, though, that Philly's going to really be up for this game. Excited to have the new kid on the block in the lineup for them. I actually lean over in this game. The over is hit in 4 of the last 5 head-to-head meetings with the Habs and the Flyers. You've got, obviously, Primo on one side. You've got Ersson on the other. We've got a situation where the total's only 6 in this game as opposed to 6.5. If you look at Montreal, we've seen 4 straight overs for them. Now, Philadelphia have had 3 straight unders, and their offense and their lack of it concerns me right now. But Drysdale, on the back end, to get the puck moving up the ice, that's one of his strengths. So it can only help them as far as generating the attack, getting the rush going for this team. So over 6 here for me, I'm going to take a small shot with that. I don't really have much on the side, though. I lean Philly, but not at that price, minus 180. Just a little too rich for my blood. I like the spot, the setup for them. I just don't like the price. What do you think here in this one, Ray? Montreal, Philadelphia.
Yeah, like I said, you guys, you have way more information than me, and I haven't even been able to watch, I think, either of these teams play all year. But like I said, I try and follow along. I like, a new guy in the lineup, and I think he'll play well, and especially if he's on that top pair, he's gonna play a ton of minutes. Should help them. Usually guys in their debuts in a new spot do really well. So, even if he doesn't score a goal or not, I would lean with Philly, and I like your over, with 4 out of 5. So, and I like maybe you take Philly outright. I'm not sure what the line is. I actually am not allowed to. I don't have any access to American or accounts because of my location.
Yeah, of course, the old geo
They
block. Gotta love
Yeah,
that.
they'll
Yeah,
kick me out, which is
yeah,
BS, but,
yeah.
yeah,
Good
so
stuff.
I don't know if I see this game going to overtime. I think Philly's, a spark, and there's been some news around the organization. I think they'll come out and play well tonight, so.
Yeah, I have the draw. I might sprinkle on the draw because the one thing I will say, Montreal did go to shootout against the Rangers. Philly's been an overtime team lately. 4 of the last 10 Flyers games have gone past regulation. So I could make a small case for the draw. I don't love it, the draw, but I could make a small case for it given what we have seen with those two teams. And yeah, like I said, for props, if you're going to look at anyone on Philly, Konechny's been on fire. Tippett, you're right, has been absolutely terrific lately for them. Slavkovsky remains on the top line with Caulfield and Suzuki. We'll see how that goes. Anderson as well. I've mentioned how he's kind of been a little bit better offensively. Yoel Armia, actually, crazy as this is to say because he's on the fourth line, he scored in back-to-back games against Buffalo and the Rangers. Why not? And I know he's on the fourth line. He's not going to get the ice time that some other players would on this Montreal team, but I'm telling you, he scored in back-to-back games. He's clearly got a little mojo going, and he's plus 480 to score a goal tonight. So not bad if you're looking at value there with Yoel Armia, the Finn, here for the Canadians tonight. All right, the next game is the first of 2 games on TNT tonight. Of course, in the U.S., Wednesday night means TNT hockey. We've got Minnesota and Dallas. The Dallas Stars minus 200 home favorites. The total in this game, 6.5, shaded to the under. Some 6s as well. Exciting this game for the main reason, of course, the debut of this big-time goaltending prospect for the Minnesota Wild out of Sweden, Jesper Wallstedt. The Wall, they call him, the brick wall is what they call him. Look, Jesper Wallstedt, if you watched him, we just talked, Ray and I, about the World Juniors. This guy was in the World Juniors a few years ago for Sweden and very good. And he's big. He's got the ability to be more athletic for his size than you would think. I'm very excited, to see how he performs here in his NHL debut. Now, not easy because you're facing a Dallas team that this year has shown they've got a lot of firepower. Make no mistake about it. But kid has all the tools. We know that. And we'll see how he fares here at the NHL level. His first start. Of course, he was just recently called up. Philip Gustafson remains out, on IR for the Wild. They're at the point they just cannot keep playing Marc-Andre Fleury, every single night, at his age and at his stage of his career. So it's time to see what this kid can deliver based out of necessity. Why not? Down in the AHL with Iowa, 2.54 goals against average, 917 save percentage. Pretty good numbers. Not great, but pretty good is what those numbers are down there. See how he fares here at the NHL level. But here he is getting this opportunity here for the first time in the NHL with the Minnesota Wild against a Dallas team that took care of business handily against Minnesota. These teams played Monday night in Minnesota. It's the back end of a home and home, and it ends up being a 4-0 shutout win for the Dallas Stars to get back on track. We'll see if they've got that focus that you need to have to be able to beat the same team 2 games in a row. They're definitely the better team. And outside of Heiskanen and Ottinger, who remain out for Dallas, and Heiskanen's a huge loss, don't get me wrong. But other than that, they're still a lot healthier top to bottom than Minnesota is right now. Minnesota's got no Spurgeon and Brodin, their top 2 defensemen. Gustafson on IR. Marcus Foligno's back to a game-time decision. Marcus Johansson, another top 6 forward, game-time decision. And, of course, Kirill Kaprizov is on IR indefinitely. So just a lot of key absences here for the Minnesota Wild. It's hard to trust them here to be able to compete with a team like Dallas. It is a revenge spot for Minnesota. They do have this young hotshot goalie coming in here at Wallstedt for his debut. And teams rally around that. They want to play well for the kid in his first game, but I just don't know if Minnesota's healthy enough to trust them, even getting a nice number like this, at plus 170. So I'm going to sprinkle on the draw here with the Wild and the Stars tonight. The one thing about Dallas, they played a lot of close games at home. 4-3 Nashville at home, 5-4 in overtime Colorado at home, 4-3 Montreal at home, 5-4 Chicago in overtime at home, 4-3 Vancouver overtime at home, 4-3 Seattle overtime at home. Every Dallas home game lately, it's been a white knuckler for the Dallas Stars. So I think the draw here is definitely in play. If Alex were on the show, I'd I'd be willing to guess he might be on the draw as well. I am going to take a small shot with the over 1.5. I don't feel great about it because of the situation with Wallstead in net. They rally around him. They try to protect him. They play a good, sound defensive game. And we did see a low-scoring battle the other night. So, but that first period over trend, we're not ready to totally abandon ship on it just yet with the Dallas Stars. So that's the main bets for me here is draw, little first period over as well in this one. Full game over at 6-2 possibly, but I don't feel confident in either one because I could see them trying to rally around Wallstead and try to be a really, really, low event, keep this a low event game, help this goalie out, play good team defense in front of him. I could see that being the MO for Minnesota tonight in this game to try to, have a chance to win it. What do you think here in this one, Ray? Minnesota, Dallas.
Yeah, I'm high on Dallas. I think they're so good. That's one team I always seem like I've been watching their highlights and they're always doing well. They're 6-3-1 in their last 10. Opportunity to play at home and win. I don't see Minnesota's been on a bit of a skid if I'm not mistaken. They're 5-5 and they were playing really well.
1-5 in their last 6, by the way, and it's all been since they got this, just riddled with these injuries that they've suffered.
And they're 7-10 and 2 on the road. Whereas Vegas is Dallas is 12-7 and 2 at home. So I like Dallas here. I don't love the price minus 200, but I like your draw in the under. Like I said, I think Minnesota will play sound defensively. And
actually, I'm drawing the first period over, not the under. That first, just because of the Dallas trend, it's like something like 21-5 first period over. It's been crazy, but I don't love it. I'm just riding the trend. I honestly, if the trend were not a thing with Dallas and these first period overs, I may stay off it tonight if it weren't such a heavy good trend long term, because I think it's all over the place. It could be 5-4. Wedgwood in net hasn't been great for Dallas lately, and he's back in tonight, but he got a rest, and he needed one. Yeah. He's been playing way too many games in a row with Ottinger out, and he needed the rest because he hadn't been playing as well the last few. So maybe the rest helps him to play better tonight. So.
Yeah, I just have a feeling that it's going to be the under.
I get it.
Like you said,
it's not crazy at all.
So
they saw 4-0 the other night with these two teams, and we've seen the under cash in what is it? The under here? It's actually 4-1 to the under in the last 5 head-to-head.
And sometimes a goalie goes in and has like an unbelievable debut, and highly touted. So
it's a good live.
I just have a feeling.
Good live betting game. Look to see how Wallstead looks early in the game. Look to see how Minnesota's playing in front of him early in the game. Good way to approach it. Because there are some unknowns here as far as this game is concerned a little bit. Prop wise, I would say Seguin. Seguin's the number one prop on Dallas right now. Like he is the one that's just, Duchesne has had a run where he's been the dominant goal scorer.
Yeah.
Marchment has had runs where he's put the puck in the net like crazy. Right now it's Seguin. 3 straight games with a goal and 5 goals in the last 5 games. So he's the clear number one option right now for Dallas as far as goal scoring right now. He's been feeling it. I would say for Minnesota, again, they've got questions about who's actually going to be in the top 6 tonight. Again, due to all the injuries that they're going through right now. But it looks like, there's Rossi would have to step up. Boldy would have to step up for them tonight with the injuries. Hartman, maybe Freddie Gaudreau. I mean, those are the players you'd want to look at here tonight for Minnesota. If these players like Foligno and Johansson are out. And, of course, Kaprizov ain't coming back. So that's what you'd probably want to look at for props there in this game. All right, the second TNT game, the game of the night. It's not even close. It's the last 2 defending Stanley Cup, or the last 2 Stanley Cup champions going head-to-head, Vegas and Colorado. We've got Colorado minus 140 home favorites in this game. The total is currently at 6.5. 6.5 it is, shaded to the under. Last time these two teams met in Vegas, Golden Knights 7, Avalanche Squadouche. And it was Vegas by a touchdown. Totally shellacked the Colorado Avalanche in that game earlier this season. I would just be willing to assume Colorado has not forgotten what happened that night. Now, it was a while ago, and it was just one regular season game. It's not like it was a playoff series loss, but still, November the 4th in Vegas, 7-0 Vegas. So there's no question that Colorado, I'd expect them to be ready tonight in this game. Unlike the Florida game, they looked like they were just not prepared to be dialed in right away. I thought they were better in that regard in their last game, the win against Boston earlier this week. Tonight, I definitely expect them to be ready to rock from the opening puck drop against this Vegas team, defending Stanley Cup champs. Vegas has been struggling, but they finally snapped the skid. They had gone 1-6 in 7 games prior to beating the Islanders 5-2 on Saturday night. Much needed win for Vegas to get back on track. We'll see if they can carry that over here and string a couple of wins together. It won't be easy here. Obviously, 7-0. It was an absolute debacle earlier this year. Now, there are some injuries here for Colorado that we do have to mention. Both teams, actually. There's a lot of injuries, both sides. We know William Karlsson's on IR. Theodore is still on IR for Vegas. William Carrier now is on IR. Logan Thompson's out. But the good news is Adin Hill. Talk about timing. Logan Thompson has to be put on the injury list. And now, just in the nick of time, their Stanley Cup winning goaltender, who was the backbone behind that, one of the backbones behind that Stanley Cup run, Adin Hill, is back here tonight for the Vegas Golden Knights. It's actually not an injury. It's an illness for Logan Thompson. And Zach Whitecloud day-to-day. So great timing there to get Adin Hill back. But he hasn't played in a while, a very long while. So we'll see how sharp he is. We have not seen him in a game since December the 17th. So it's been some time. And then before that, he was out for a bit, for a period of time, and hasn't played a full game. He hasn't played a 60-minute game since November the 27th, Adin Hill. So that's how long ago it was. So we'll see if he's sharp against a Colorado team that their issue has been defensively and their goaltending. It hasn't been scoring lately. Georgiev in net for Colorado, and they've got injuries too. With Lehkonen and Landeskog long-term IR, Bowen Byram on IR, Miles Wood, who's been pretty good for them this year, out. Josh Manson on defense is out now as well. So, and look, that's a position of strength for them, a position of depth, the blue line. But I don't know, the more you chip into it, the more you're going to get concerned is eventually, for as deep as you are on the blue line, and you're missing this many players on that in that position, you're eventually going to feel it. So we'll see if Colorado can withstand, some of these absences on the blue line. It looks like tonight it's going to be, at least they have Makar and Taves, their best two, but then it's Gerard, it's Johnson, and it's going to be Caleb Jones and Sam Malinsky. Although I'll say this, that Sam Malinsky kid's played pretty well for this Colorado team since he's been in the lineup. I'm going to go with first period, both teams to score in this game. That I like. I don't love the 6.5. I would lean that way because Colorado's been an over machine lately, but these two teams have not always been in track meets. In fact, before the 7-0 Vegas win, it was 7 straight unders, I believe, 6 straight unders between these two teams. But I do think it's a fast start in this game. I like both teams to score at a plus price in the first period. The draw I like. I could see this being a close competitive game. I don't think it'll be a runaway either way. And we have seen Colorado kind of turn into this little overtime shootout juggernaut lately. 3 of the last 4 games for the Avalanche have gone beyond regulation. So the draw, I think, first period, both teams to score. And if I were to consider one other bet, because I think Colorado's really amped up for this, and I'm not so sure Adin Hill in his first game in a long time is going to be at his best. Not to mention Vegas defensively hasn't been as good the last few weeks either, and they're banged up on the back end. I'm going to rock a little Colorado team total in this game as well, over 3.5 in this one, because I definitely think there's going to be onus on this Avalanche team. And think about the last 2 games. They beat Boston. They got to 4 goals. And even in the loss where they got pumped by Florida over the weekend at home, 8-4, they still scored 4 goals. And that's enough to cash your team total. So I'm going to look at that as well. Avs team total over 3.5 here in this one. Ray, it's the game of the night. What do you think? Golden Knights.
Yeah, I'm going with Colorado here. Vegas has struggled as of late. Got some injuries, like you talked about. I think Whitecloud's a big part of their D. I And the other thing is McKinnon's got a chance to break Sakic's home point streak record tonight. So you can look for him for a player prop. I like your Colorado total. I just think their offense is just so high octane, and that McKinnon line is stupid. Like it's
not just McKinnon, Ray, anymore. Jonathan Drouin is on fire for them. Nichushkin can't be stopped right now. Like those two guys are the ones that stand out. And if you're betting props tonight in this game, Colorado with Nichushkin and Drouin, who have been, well, they're undervalued. You're getting better prices with them. And they're the ones that I'd be looking at for props. On the Vegas side of the equation tonight, we're going to see Barbashev, Eichel, Marcia. So the one I want to focus in on is Pavel Dorofeev for Vegas. He scored in back-to-back games. I said this when he first got called up again and joined the lineup. This is an offensive finisher and a very good one. He's capable of it. He's got 5 goals on the season, goals in back-to-back games against the Panthers and the Islanders. For Dorofeev, I think Dorofeev's a great look here as far as goal prop tonight on the Vegas side. Certainly the most value for a guy that's now scored in back-to-back games. Because what can you get as far as the prop? You can get an absolutely outstanding price probably for Dorofeev compared to, especially considering now he's looking for a third straight game with a goal. Plus 410. That's value right there. Pavel Dorofeev for sure on that second line for the Vegas Golden Knights. He'd be someone I'd be looking to target. Yeah, I really like the team total. Well, like I say, I don't love minus 140. I'm not convinced Colorado, with the issues Georgiev has had and Prosvetov for that instance, as well. They both had issues in goal. Their defense has been kind of up and down lately, Colorado. And I don't want to lay $140. So that's why I like the team total. Just focus on Colorado scoring 4. Win or lose, you don't have to worry about it. And it's plus 110 at Pinnacle for the Colorado team total over 3.5. Might as well take that, because if they win this game, are they really scoring less than 3-4 goals? If they win this game, I think there's a good chance if they win this game, they score at least 4. So for me, I much, much prefer Avs team total over 3.5 plus 110 than Colorado minus 140, on the money line here. If you were in my shoes, Ray, would you agree with that? You'd prefer team total with that price? Yeah. Definitely. I think, like I say, if you like Colorado, take the plus 110 with the team total to get at least 4 goals. And I think the money line option's a little more dicey in a high variance game like this between two obviously really good teams, 2 contenders in the Western Conference. All right, there you have it. That's the Wednesday slate. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already. A reminder, make sure you sign up, patreon.com/iceguys, $10 a month. All of our exclusive content is there. The daily cards, sides, totals, player props, and of course, goalie charts, totals charts. We're going to have bonus videos and content throughout the rest of the season, and including our first Patreon exclusive live betcast later in January. It will only be available to Patreon members to watch, and also Patreon members to join us on the stream as part of it. That'll be toward the end of the month. And then we also, of course, have our main betcast. It's next Tuesday, January 16th, 7 p.m. Eastern. That'll be public, free, open to everybody. Make sure you join us for that. Looking forward to it. And again, signing up means you help keep this show going for the long term. We want to be here for years, if not decades, to come here doing this show. We're serious about being here for a while, doing this show, Alex and I, for many years to come. So make sure you sign up, patreon.com/iceguys, just $10 a month, and check out the Ice Guys store, iceguys.myspreadshop.com. Ray, we do the bargain bin special of the night at this time, which, look, I know we'll let you pass on this segment, but what it is we pick a prop of plus 300 or better on the board, the one we like the most. That's why we call it the bargain bin special. We look for a big plus money prop, the one we like the most. And I'm going to go right back to Vegas and Colorado and go with Pavel Dorofeev at plus 410 tonight for the Vegas Golden Knights. That is a great price for someone that's on the second line and has scored in back-to-back games. So Pavel Dorofeev plus 410 for my bargain bin special of the night. With honorable mention, let me see what Drouin is. Drouin was the other one I was considering, but I think his price is, his price is dipped below plus 300. So it doesn't make that bargain bin criteria requirement. So Dorofeev does. We'll go with him, plus 410 for Vegas for bargain bin special of the night. All right. Look, I know obviously over there it's a chore. It's hard to get your bets in, but it's best bet segment, Ray. We'll still throw it to you. Which one of the 3 games, what do you like the most here tonight?
Yeah, and I'm probably going to steal yours. I'm going to say the Colorado team total over 4.
All right, there you go. Over 3.5, plus 110.
3.5. Sorry. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
I know
so,
you got it in your head. They got to score 4.
Yeah.
So that's how you end up saying 4. So there you go. Ray's liking that team total with Colorado over 3.5, plus 110 for his best bet on this slate. My best bet's actually not that. We're going to go back to Habs Flyers. I like over 6 there, minus 120. Let's take a shot with. I just get that sense tonight. Philly is needing to get their offense going. I know Torts wants them to play good, solid defensive hockey, but they need to score right now. And 1 goal is not going to cut it like they had against Pittsburgh the other night. Montreal's trending over. The series history has actually trended over, if you can believe it, with Montreal-Philly. 4 of the last 5 meetings have gone over, 4-3, 6-3, 5-4, 5-2. The only meeting that stayed under, and it barely stayed under, was a 3-2 win for Philly last March. So let's go with that. Montreal, Philadelphia, over 6, minus 120 for my best bet for this Wednesday card. That's a wrap. Ray, it was great catching up with you.
Yeah,
wish you all the best the rest of the season, man.
Thanks for having me on.
No doubt. A reminder, the Ice Guys is live 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern, Saturday and Sunday, noon Eastern. If you can't watch the show live, download the Ice Guys podcast in audio form in all major podcast platforms. Yeah, that's the plan, Cheshire Cat. One last comment before we wrap up the show. Ray, make sure you come back more often.
I'll try. I'll try.
We will. His season's winding down at the end of February, and he's pretty damn sure that there's not going to be postseason in his future this season.
Yeah.
So, we'll have opportunities, definitely, especially come playoff time when we get to April. No doubt Stanley Cup playoffs will be underway, and we'll get Ray in the mix here in the rotation more often here on the Ice Guys show. But great stuff. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button on the way out. For our guest, Ray Bryce, our old friend. Good to check in with him once again here on this Wednesday show. I'm Ian Cameron. Have a great Wednesday night. Enjoy the games and good luck. And we will talk to you again tomorrow on Thursday. We got Matt Robinson back in the mix tomorrow for the Thursday edition of the show. And Alex as well will be back tomorrow for the Thursday edition of the Ice Guys. We'll see you then.
Tell Alex I said hi.
We will. He was disappointed he missed it, but he had appointments today. But we will definitely let him know that you say hi. And Alex will be back along with Matt Robinson tomorrow on the Thursday edition of the Ice Guys.